Hello, I'm Bridget from Bridget Flowers. As it's autumn and we're in the pumpkin season, I bought a nice pumpkin and I thought to decorate it in a more unusual way with spray paint and sparkles, and you can use this really nicely on your autumn table or as an Halloween decoration. To start with, we need a nice pumpkin, and preferably one that has a nice stem with it. And the pumpkin also, just have a look that it doesn't have too many deep rings in it, because then when you start painting it, your paint will disappear in it. Then we need to know some spray paint, and the spray paint that I use today a gold color, and I use it from the brand Oasis. And Oasis products, they are made to spray flowers and also vegetables and other organic products. Then we need some sparkles and pearl pins. And finally we also need some of these tree slices that we use to just make the decoration complete. So let's hop outside and give our pumpkin a basic color. We set our pumpkin to dry for a couple of minutes. And in order to decorate the pumpkin, we need a couple of things. So I have my glue gun here, what I'm going to use to decorate, to glue the sparkles on. If you don't have a glue gun, you can also use super glue. And in case you do have a glue gun, now it's time to warm it up, because it always needs a couple of minutes. And then to decorate it further with paint, I'm going to make a small piping bag from baking parchment. To do that, we're going to cut out a rectangular shape from baking parchment. This rectangle we cut diagonally into two triangle shapes. Okay, so we do a nice rectangular. Then we're gonna roll this up very tight, same way as how you will decorate something with chocolate. We pull it as a tight line here, so you create a nice bag and fold the last bit inside. So now we have the bag, and the bag we can fill with acrylic paint. And then when the bag is full, we just cut the tip off, and then we can start writing or making any kind of decorations on the pumpkin. Just make sure you put enough paint in it, because once you fill it up and you close it, you cannot add any more paint, so then you have to make a new bag. There you go. When you have the line on the top, turn the bag over, and then you just start folding it closer and closer. And you see the paint will go slightly towards the end, and then it's time to start working with it. So we set this aside, because first we're going to start with the sparkles. Our glue gun is ready to start using, and before we start, I'm going to put a piece of baking parchment underneath the pumpkin, and this will catch our excess sparkles. So to start working, you can decide what kind of designs you're going to make. So I'm going to make dots from the glue. I'm going to make them nice and round, and then straight away I'm going to sprinkle my sparkles on. You can also, of course, you can make lines, and you can also make, for example, the whole stem that you cover in sparkles. It's up to your creativity how you're going to make it. Just think in advance how you're gonna combine your sparkles and your glue with your paint. And then I'm sure you come all to a very creative solution. So I nearly finished working with my glue gun. I also decided to put some sparkles on the stem, and you can just do that really nicely with putting some glue all the way up, and then again lots of sparkles on it. And also when you work with the glue gun, of course you create this really nice high drops on top of your pumpkin, but also they make lots of lime lines, the really thin lines, and they can be always a little bit annoying if you look over it. So just make sure that you take all the lines off when you're finished working with that. So I'm just gonna put here a little bit more glue on the stem, and then I can put a little bit more sparkles there. So I think it already looks very glamorous and very sparkly, so I'm loving it already. But of course it's all to your design, and for example you can make also a really nice pumpkin spraying it in silver and using silver sparkles, for example. It's up to your creativity how you're gonna make yours. So I finished now with my sparkles. Take here the little last bits of lime away. And then we're gonna start working with a little bit of paint. So I have my bag ready, and before we start you can practice a little bit what kind of designs you want to do. So as I'm a florist, I like flowers, so I'm gonna make all little flowers spread all the way around over my pumpkin. Maybe you want to do little lines, or you want to write something like Halloween or trick or treat, for example. So when you have your little piping bag, when you make it right, you have a really tiny opening on the top where your paint flows out. If you don't have an opening that's big enough, you can always cut it a bit shorter, so you can start painting a little bit more. So you see it creates a little line, so you can make nice circles and wordings. Just take a piece of paper and then start practicing before you do it on your pumpkin. So then it's time to just continue working with it. So I'm gonna make here just a very simple flower with 1 dot in the middle and 5 dots around it. And then I'm gonna start continuing all the way around. And of course I used here the brown paint because I think brown and gold works very nice this time of year. You can also work, for example, if you make your pumpkin white, you can make black paint. It's also very interesting and very modern for now. So even if you're a very creative person, you can go a little step further. You can make, for example, a little spider web that you can paint on it. And then you have those artificial spiders that you can also glue on top of your pumpkin. And this is also, again, a lovely activity to do with your children. It's not dangerous because they don't have to carve the pumpkin with a knife or any sharp tools, and they can do this just with some friends on an afternoon, and they can express their creativity very good. But you see, it's not only for kids, because with these nice golden sparkly pumpkins, I'm sure everybody would love to create one of these. And my last flower is finished. So I'm very happy with the design of my pumpkin. I think it looks very elegant. So of course the paint is wet, so when we transfer it to the destination where we're gonna show it off, we have to be carefully and lift it up from underneath, as the paint will take a couple of hours to dry. So we have here these very rustic tree slices that I have, and I think they look very autumnal. You can decorate it completely if you want to make it as a centerpiece on your table by surrounding it, for example, with some sunflower heads. I also got from my neighbor, from her garden, some nice quince fruits, and they are very autumnal and they look lovely as well in this design. So I'm gonna place a few around. And then I also have some Chinese lanterns. They are a fruit that you can get from your local florist or from your flower market. They dry in nicely and they represent autumn as well, very good. So place a few around as well. Maybe you have some moss or some nuts or other types of fruits to make a nice design around it to put on your table. And also, if you're gonna work with a nice decoration for your porch, for example, you can use a couple of pumpkins that you paint and some natural. It doesn't need to be a Halloween decoration, but just to show off that it's autumn. So thank you all for watching, and please send me any pictures from your creative designs that you made. And see you next time. Bye bye.